Well, eating oysters at local restaurants is part of the Gulf Coast experience. But have you ever wondered where all those shells go after you're done eating? As it turns out, they go in the trash and then the landfill. But now, a few local restaurants and the Alabama Coastal Foundation are recycling those shells. News 5's Melissa Constanzer has more.
From the Mobile Bay to the tables of local restaurants, oysters are part of everyday life on the Gulf Coast. But now all those leftover shells on our plates will be put back into the bay.
That's about 35% of the seafood from the country, from the oysters in the country, come from the Gulf of Mexico. So it's a really big part of our economy. Our economy and our environment are tied together. So the more oysters we get back into the water, the better off our economy will be.
Yesterday marked the start of Alabama's first oyster recycling program. 6 local restaurants, including the original Oyster House, are collecting oyster shells from customers' plates.
Several restaurants will have these green bins. They'll be collected Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they'll be filling up with oyster shells just like this. Now, each one of these bins can hold about 750 oyster shells.
For a place like the original Oyster House, they sell a few thousand oysters a day. That means they could easily fill 5 bins a day. But why do we even need these shells to be dumped back into the bay? The answer? To grow more oysters. The shells will be helpful for oyster larvae shortly after spawning.
So after about 2 weeks, when they're done swimming as microscopic little guys, they decide, okay, now's the time, and they seek out something hard that's calcium-based, and their preferred #1 spot is other oysters.
Other cities along the Gulf Coast already recycle oysters, including Pensacola and New Orleans. Plans to expand the Alabama program to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach are already in the works for next spring. In Mobile, Melissa Constanzer, News 5.
The original Oyster House was the first of 6 restaurants to sign on to the program. The other restaurants are the Bluegill, Ed's, Felix's, Ralph and Kaku's, and the Half Shell Oyster House.